Hey guys, good morning. Zombie sheep almost eligible in. Schedule is all over the place, but there's no schedule here, so it's alright. Before we get into playing the campaign today, turn for the day, Kappa. We're gonna talk a little bit about the new vampire counts and a little bit more about this faction for kind of like a review slash Jibber Jabber type of video. Morning, yes, it's morning. It's 3 and 12 a.m. Of course it is. Well, I got barber in 11 hours. Was worried I would have a bad time, but this is a weird time again. So vampire counts is one of my favorite factions, and I'm kind of biased towards this, so take that into account. I don't want to really talk about Immortal Empires because it's too early to say, but it's looking good. It's still beta with lots of work ahead. But when it comes to vampire counts, they actually kind of received almost like a rework. Well, not really receiving a rework, which means there are lords coming, guys. There are more lords coming for the vampires. But they've been nicely updated into the Immortal Empires, and I'm very happy with what I've seen. We can talk first about the factions. So the factions in general, every faction has some kind of different starting spot. The most unique ones are the Manfred and Gorst, because where they start on the other side of the world. And while Kemmler and Sylvania start in a similar area of the map, still I would say would be a different experience. But what's more importantly, each one of these lords is unique and will definitely feel different, either their starting situation or their location, what their faction has to offer. So I think the Vampire Counts factions currently look more than great, amazing, all of them. This faction is in particular starts in the Haunted Forest with the Hellman Gorst, one of the earliest DLCs of Warhammer 1, and definitely feels like now a DLC faction with actual some proper stuff. So unique location, pretty much in the southeast towards east, with some options. The leader is Hellman Gorst, which has some flavor and some good stuff regarding his faction. I think the Lord was always amazing, even in the earliest days. People always used to talk him down because of his speed, but now I think flavor-wise and feel-wise, you get this incredibly strong Master Necromancer who I felt like was a melee expert. And when you add the magic into combination, it just delivers. Nowadays, they added something that was expected years ago. We wanted to get super zombies, I think like 5 years ago. So not a really big surprise they did this with the zombies. I think zombies in a very good spot on the base right now, finally look like a campaign unit, but for this faction actually looks like a really cheap, if not way too cheap, way too effective, the most resilient unit in this faction, especially when once you have everything going. You get multiple buffs for the zombies, which are faction-wide, and you get also a big healing faction-wide. The biggest change to the vampire counts that happened with Immortal Empires is their healing. This is the best thing about the vampire counts, in my opinion. It is their team, and it's keeping their armies alive, as in healing. They just don't want to die. So healing caps buffs have been introduced. There are currently issues with them. They are probably scaling weirdly, especially when there are multiple healing buffs in the game. There's base health, there's a healing cap which you can see 75% if it's still not changed. There is a healing cap now on the Immortal Horror. There's a healing cap unique for the Gorst on his unique skill. There is a healing cap on the units and technologies. There is a healing for the whole army on the Master Necromancer. And there is unique healing on all the zombies on the Hellman Gorst. And some of these numbers are, I feel like, not behaving how they should. Instead of just adding more numbers to the base healing cap, they are interacting with each other in the ways probably not intended, and giving too much healing overall. For other units, it might not be that bad, but for the zombies, it feels like it's currently bugged. But it might not be, because the zombies currently now have, with some quick math, close to 100,000 possible health. 100,000. And if you have a 0.4 healing available when they enter melee, they will just not die. Even the strongest infantry in the game, unless they're hound counter to them, magic, fire, anti-infantry, and very effective attacks, they will just not die. So it is definitely over the top. And I think they should balance, they should definitely take a look at if there is any problems with the math on the healing caps. Some people have said that this 500% might be 5,000, but even if all the numbers are right, with some quick math that I did on the calculator, the zombie right now has nearly 100,000 health. That is way, way, way too high. And even if there is no bugs with it or no bad interactions, I think still this battle healing cap plus 500% is overkill, and it begs to be abused. It gives bad name to this faction, gives bad name to the zombies, and it's overall bad for the game. When, you know, something can be abused, people will ignore everything else, thinking this is the best, and just, you know, there's gonna be just this stigma built around it, which is, I think it's usually around the community gets a little bit toxic, in my opinion. It's been around for every little factions previously in the game that had something over the top, and now currently the team is the bugged, broken zombies. So I think they need to check the numbers. If they don't add up, fix that. And also the uncanny resilience plus 500% should probably be 200, if not 100%. Because that is already a technology with 100%. They will still keep zombies close to 50,000 health, which is more than enough for zombies. Zombies should be resilient. There should be a flavor to them. There should be a team with this faction with them. They should be strong, super zombies, but they should not really be strong enough to not only tank, but kill black orcs in the end, for example. With enough support, magic, and other stuff, this should definitely be possible, but in the current state, one might say they are broken, so they need to take a look what's wrong with the healing numbers. And this 0.4 heal per second is way too much, because the healing as a whole has been changed. The reliquary binding, the unholy lodestone, the master of dead, the curse of undead, the invocation, the heck, to name some, all adds up. And when there is hunger, when there is ravenous death, when there's regeneration, it just explodes. Now, this faction team is, being the undead with the, ancient powerful knowledge and creatures. The whole team is about, little just being immortal, and it's a little bit too much on the zombie side. I think the ravenous death should be slightly lower. But they need to first check the numbers, but the Ravenous Death could be slightly lower to be a little bit more balanced. Would still make very strong zombies, but the zombies should not be to the point where literally, let's just abuse zombies and forget everything else exists. Zombies will never have the damage of the Graveguard or higher quality units, but because of the costs, they're begging to be abused, and it's creating this stigma around this faction and the unit itself. So this is what I'm going to say about this. I think the changes to the healing and the overwhelm per counts regarding the Field of Death, it's nailed. and they should not really tone this down. They should just need to take a look if the numbers are interacting right with each other. They should be increasing this thing. If this is 10,000, they have another 7,500 health. That's total 17,500 total. If this adds 50%, they should add another 5,000. If this adds 50%, they should add another 5,000. And all these percentages should not interact with the base health and other percentages at the same time, which might be a bug, or might be unintended, or you know, maybe just spaghetti code, because this is how income works in the game. And when it works with the healing caps, it might break some stuff like zombies currently, and possibly Vlad and Isabella, which people have been talking about. They are cannot really be killed in a lot of situations. So Hellman Gorst, they've done justice to him. He finally has super zombies. I'm not shocked about this. I expected this 5 years ago. His faction has flavor, has location, and has amazing Legend Lord. This is, I'm biased, I'm gonna say perfect. Perfect, just needs some balancing. Regarding the overall feel of the vampire counts, other than the legendary lords, I think the best thing about the vampires is their team, it's their healing, their being immortal, like it goes with them. But the worst thing about the vampire counts, I think a lot of people can agree with this, with me, is the traits. The worst thing about the vampire counts is their traits, and for me personally, and a person who replays the game, this takes a bit out of the game. I think there should be more vampire counts, their background, more of their team available on the traits, and not this generic copy pasta with really bad unique traits like Dark Majesty, which is just worse tactician, or this is slightly better but it's still worse. Traits should be in the on the values of the high elves or close, if not how they did unique traits for the ancient treemen, for example, in the branch raid. Should be more like that. So the worst thing about the vampire counts is their traits, and every time I look at it, I just feel you know, bad for a few seconds. The basic traits should be more unique to the faction, uniquely themed, stronger overall. The traits have a general problem in the game, so they're begging for rework, and they're begging for some flavor, quality, character-defining abilities, strengths, and not just some generic copy-paste that goes among the factions, which will not even fit all the factions. Like, for example, our Necrarch bloodline has rolled a Determined. A Necrarch is an undead vampire lord, which is immune to psychology, and he has a very high leadership, some of the highest the undead have. Undead have no trouble with the leadership on their lords. So Determined not only does nothing, but it actually pokes you every time you see it, and your eyes bleed a little bit more every time, and you lose a couple more brain cells year after year after year. This is in the game. So the worst thing about the vampire counts is their traits. Other than the generic stuff and the lazy unique ones, the worst offender is by far the bloodlines. The bloodlines, they should have unique traits around the Blood Dragon team, around the Von Carsten team, around the Lamian team, Necrarch team, Strigo team. They should be fixed traits like the Slants. They don't need to have second, third, fourth, you know, tier. They could all just be unique to the Blood Dragon, unique to the Von Carsten, unique to the Lamian, unique to the Necrarch and Strigoi, and make these traits, give them some more background, some more flavor, and some more strength, you know, for what they're supposed to do. Each one of these bloodlines is supposed to be unique, and those traits can make them even more specialized, more unique, more flavorful. Regarding their lords and how they play, I think generic lords are a little bit behind due to bloodlines. I think a system could be created where the bloodlines are the main thing, but you know, that's not the end of the world. Maybe in a rework the bloodlines will be the main theme of the vampires, and the generic traits will be, generic lords will be what they are for multiplayer and used by the AI primarily. I don't think any of these lords is bad. Some of them are just lacking with more flavor and, you know, different use. Bloodlines are all good. They all have their use. you get a powerful effect and you get a powerful lord. If they get even a good trait, you're gonna even have fun with them. So these are basically pseudo-legendary lords. The regular lords, the Master Necromancer has always been one of the worst lords in the game. On the base, kinda still is, but as it levels up now, it's pretty good. And they did one change with the Necromancers. Just one change. It has access to the good lore. Lord of the Scourge and the Troll Masters have been reworked again. Lord of the Scourge now provides a healing cap to the army with a little bit more flavor to it, and just this battle healing cap plus 30% for the whole army, it's a game changer for this lord and makes this lord different and special for this faction. Not only you get a support Necromancer, which is what the role of Necromancer is support, it actually makes the army even better when it comes to healing, which supports this faction team. So Master Necromancer are not only their best that they've ever been, but they're also usable, and they're gonna feel good. Because the biggest surprise, if you ask me, in the Mortal Empire's Vampire counts, the biggest surprise are the corpse cards. There can still be something down with them, but the biggest surprise is the corpse cards. And the Necromancer and the Master Necromancer have access to the corpse cards. And why corpse cards? Why corpse cards? One moment. So, corpse card. This is a support unit of the Vampire counts. They have reworked Vigor Mortis. On top of the attack and defense, now also restores Vigor. And doesn't matter which unit will be next to the corpse card. Any of the units will excel next to it. And this is what the role of these units always was supposed to be. They added one more effect on top. Now the undead finally have that Vigor, which will literally just stay high if it's there is next to a corpse card. You have a regular corpse card, you have a corpse card on the Necromancer, on the Master Necromancer, and they are like the ultimate support unit. They are a little bit slow, 23 speed, so you have to pretty much adjust your whole plan to use them properly, especially when it comes to regular units. There is a technology which could increase their speed, but they've forgotten about that. We'll talk about it in a second, in a few minutes. So why is the corpse card the biggest surprise? Vigor Mortis now restores Vigor. And Unholy Lodestone used to be 2 health per second. 2 health per second. And that was half region. Now it's 0.1. 0.1 is actually, in most cases, 4+ times stronger than the region in the past. And let's say a unit of the Graveguard Great Weapons with 10,000 health. They get 0.1 region at all times. This is 5 times stronger in this current system that was before. This on top of Vigor Mortis is invaluable for the Vampire Melee and Grinder. They might not have the strongest units, they might not have the toughest units, but the combination of their resilience, their healing, and their characters will make sure they are the last one standing. The best supported melee units in the game. And this is why the corpse card is the biggest surprise, because this rework with the healing and how the percentages now work, and the rework to Vigor Mortis, the corpse card the biggest surprise. You can get in a situation where without a corpse card, your unit's just gonna be slowly dying, not killing the enemy fast enough. Then you add a Necromancer in the mix, or a corpse card with just these abilities, not even magic included, and all of a sudden unwinnable turns into easy winnable fight. The AI tends to focus the corpse cards because they know if they don't gonna kill this unit, they will not be able to do anything. So, biggest surprise, corpse cards. The lords. Really, there's an issue right now with all the characters, if I have to talk more about this. All characters should get more skill options according to their faction, background, role, if they are on foot, using mounts or not. More campaign skills, especially on the heroes, The heroes currently have no skill points. And without going into too much detail, this is definitely a thing that needs to be fixed at some point. I will show what I mean here. There's a Necromancer here with rank 47, 5 skill points remaining, no skill available on the tree to take. There's no skills. This is not a problem just with the vampire counts, but definitely one that Necromancer has. So we need a set of campaign skills. Could be just you know, similar to this. Could be another ability that gets unlocked in rank 30, like a replenishment, scouting hint, and you choose which one to use. Available from rank 30 plus. There could be a variety of skills here, depending on the hero background and faction, his role, or you know, something special. You know, just a little bit more skills on the character skills and the campaign skills. This is not just a problem with the heroes; it's also a problem with the lords. We could use a little bit more options, variety, flavor, depending, you know, what the lord is supposed to do and his faction is supposed to do, their background, and what the players could specialize into. So rank 50 brought this issue even further. Rank 40 started it. Now it's more clear than ever that heroes and even lords need more. So Master Necromancer is pretty much in the same boat, but the lords do have access to battle skills, so it's a little bit less so for the lords compared to the heroes. So that's pretty much that. The lords are fine, I would say. The bloodlines are just gonna be preferred. The traits, the main issue, really, the main issue, traits, and then the skills. Traits should be probably the first thing that they change. Regarding the heroes, the vampires have access to some amazing characters, and one of the things the vampire counts excel at are the characters. Not really much to say about the characters other than, you know, the issues with the heroes right now, especially when it comes to Necromancer and a Banshee. The Necromancer doesn't even have enough skills, but availability of them, the Necromancer is a little bit too good, while the White King is a little bit behind. It's hard to unlock this capacity. This campaign is literally end game, late game, a lot of time put into. We have 41 capacity for the Necromancer, 3 for the White Kings. Clearly something is off. We'll talk about it when we get into buildings. When it comes to the Necromancer hero, just missing skills, a little bit more flavor, background stuff, you know, the usual. The White King, I think it's almost perfect. Could use a couple more skills for different specialization, if it's on foot, if it's on horse, more for the campaign, the usual stuff. The Vampire is their best hero. It literally has enough for everything. Just could use a little bit more option variety, so you can actually pick stuff and not eventually just unlock everything no matter what, because the rank 550 is a new thing. The vampires are great, just, you know, we could use a little bit quality of life and better trade system, but, you know, it is what it is. The Banshee is, for what it is, it's perfect. Just, you know, like every hero, a little more options and variety and flavor couldn't hurt, especially when it comes to campaign skills. Regarding the units, we're not gonna be spending 5 hours here, but let's take a quick few words about this. Regarding the units, I think more or less everything is fine except 2 units. One unit is Direwolves. I think the base leadership on Direwolves have been forgotten. I think the base leadership on Direwolves should be the same as on Fellbats, 35. The base leadership on early units has been increased from 30 to 40. This unit on its base is really poor, while you can still use it effectively, especially if you go after the units that flee, they condemn themselves. But when the fight starts, even on Legendary, they're gonna have 26 leadership. There is no longer corruption increasing leadership. There's a tech to improve this a bit. Experience can do it as well, but on a base, its raw form doesn't have enough leadership. And there is no reason for any unit in the game to have 30 leadership. It's like 40 is already seems like a low average. So there is no reason for Fellbats to have 35, which is almost enough. Should be 40. These are the units that usually go over the enemy, into the enemy, behind the enemy, and the moment they engage, they are outnumbered. They have no health, they have 60 combatants. immediately the leadership becomes a problem and they start crumbling and they get destroyed unless they're buffed, supported, and have numbers of other units. So direwolves from the units, leadership is too low. My suggestion, 35. The second unit that's literally a problem is still the Black Coach. This unit is the biggest experiment this faction has had, and there's literally nothing special around it. They're just as a gimmick. If you take a Great Eagle, if you take War Wagons, if you take a Black Coach, and you spend enough time on it in the battle, as in say micro it, maybe you're desperate, you need more performance out of your units, and you might get some performance out of it. But you can get similar performance, if not better, from a unit of direwolves or a unit of cavalry, or even better, put all that micro and effort into a character like a vampire, or even better, your lord, or if you can afford it, a terrorgeist. So the Black Coach as a single entity, still work in progress. This leadership is a joke. It's always outnumbered, always surrounded, always attacked in every way possible. So they buffed its stats quite a bit, but I still think it's lacking. Even if you micro it, even if you buff it, even if it's a veteran, and even if you give it all the attention you can to maximize its performance compared to the alternatives and other units, it's a cool unit. I don't disagree with that. This was the only tabletop model I had in real life, and looks amazing, and it should feel amazing, and it should do something. I think a Black Coach should provide something for the army. Maybe Black Coach should be flying. The way it works right now, it's a gimmick poor unit with somewhat poor base stats. But the worst of all around this unit, why it will never work in the current state in the campaign, is it has a really bad battle skill. And this battle skill buffs units which don't really need buffs, and the Black Coach needs the buff. So you're never gonna waste your skill points here. My suggestion is the Black Coach to be put on the Unlimited Host, or at least the Waking Dead. So that's for starters. Second thing about it, its technologies are atrocious. This is one of the worst technologies on the Vampire counts, and the follow-up is even worse because it's in the end area. This technology should probably be as it is. The charge bonus should be changed into speed. So the Black Coach Corpse Guard, the Morse Engine, gets speed. And a third stat should be added here that gives the Black Coach another property, some kind of offensive property, something that helps it deals more damage, I don't know, like more attack or actual weapon strength. This charge bonus doesn't do anything for the Corpse Guard, 0. Morse Engine next to 0, and very little for a 80 charge value Black Coach, which only has stupid charge. They might have currently still trouble with attack animations. I'm not even gonna use it, not even gonna support this this meme of this unit. So this technology should provide speed for these units, 10 to 15% speed, so the regular Corpse Guards can keep up with the army, at least have the same speed as the Grave Guard. And a third property should be added here, which provides offense to most likely both the Morse Engine and the Black Coach, because these two are assault units, while the Corpse Guard has no attack capabilities. It is so slow that it cannot charge. It is so slow it cannot accelerate into a charge, yet the devs give it here plus 10 charge bonus. It's a joke. The Corpse Guard only needs defenses, missile resist, armor, physical resist, health, no matter what. It's fine as it is. It doesn't have to have more than 15 armor here, but both Black Coach and the Morse Engine could use the speed along with the Corpse Guard. And the third effect could be another buff, like could be 5 attack. No big deal, just something. This since we're here, I want to say the technology that follows up here, since I'm going to talk about all these things. This technology here is also very poor when you compare to everything else, and considering this is technology at the end of the technology tree, it is really poor one. When it comes to technology, vampire technology is very good, but some of it is just better than the rest. A couple of offenders here. I think this area is pretty damn good. You got your buffs for the zombies, skeletons, and the Graveguard. I think Graveguard should be on more of these technologies to their, quality elite status. The recent champions, for example, the flavor and the name technology does not fit. It gives attack to the zombies, skeleton warriors, and skeleton spearmen. These are not the recent champions. The Graveguard and the Black Knights are the recent champions. So you get a bunch of technologies buffing zombies and the skeletons, and you then only have 2 technologies, although good ones, buffing the Black Knights and the Graveguard. The recent champions should also buff Graveguard and the Black Knights. And all should be fine here in the top left side of technology. Bottom left, nothing really to complain about. This is great. This is great stuff. You got your crypt technologies, you got some campaign stuff, and you got your rates. This is all good. Nothing to complain about. Good job. Top right is still in Warhammer 1, and nothing has been done about this. This should be slightly better, slightly bit more expanded, if you ask me. This technology should be incentivized to be researched over the other stuff, and they are not good enough. You don't need buffs for the fail bats or the direwolves at the start of the campaign. You're never gonna consider going here at the start of the campaign. Give us the reasons to go in the top right early, and the only reason to research technology top right is eventual buffs for the Vargeist, even Vargolf, and the Terrorgeist. When everything else is done, you're not gonna be touching these technologies before. So top right, below average to average technologies, still decent, but there is no reason to research them over the other stuff. Bottom right is very good, with a couple of offenders. The sprayed vampire counts currently, I think, does nothing. Allegiant points gained plus 25. They should probably put this one Allegiant points gained plus 1 or plus 2 flat each time Allegiant points are gained. 25% might not do nothing on the alliances and might do very little on the LA missions. Plus 50% probably should be fine if it works. 25 is nothing. So this is the offender here. The other offender here is, like I said, vampiric revivification. The charge bonus should be speed for these units, probably 15%, because the corpse guard really needs it. This is the only thing that matters to the corpse guard, so it actually can keep up with the later armies, keep up with other units. The zombies actually move faster than the corpse guard now, and the corpse guard 23 speed is unacceptable. The zombies have been reworked technology-wise, buff on the campaign map, and they are usable throughout the game even without this faction, because they can go in a vanguard. This unit has no speed and it should have a speed buff, and this is the place where to put the speed on. Is the most ideal. A third buff should be added to add some offense to Morse engine and the Black Coach melee capabilities. There might be currently a glitch with both units regarding attack animations, especially Black Coach. I'm not sure, I'm not used it, I'm not gonna use it because it's a crap unit and doesn't really deserve a spot in the army. We might check it as a starting unit in the army, but on that, no. This thing here is the last offender. This is really poor. For technology at the end of the skill tree, it's also minus 5%. Every other technology is like 10%, 10%, 15%. This one is only 5% each. Why would we bother going into this side of the technology tree? By the time this will get its turn, we're gonna have everything else, and we're not going to need anything else. There should be a reason why to go here and go here and go here, and there is none. Recruit ranks. This is a faction which doesn't need to recruit now more than ever. The race that has been reworked to the point where the military infrastructure for recruitment, especially basic one, does not even fit the faction anymore. They should be renamed into AI recruitment. So lots of technology, otherwise everything else pretty good. When it comes to buildings, let's say a few things about the buildings, but we have to mention Raise Dead first. Raise Dead has been reworked to the point where it's more convenient than ever. It's also tied to the corruption now as well. We still have to get I don't know. What do they call those guys in the World War II? You know, when they were sending those messages, the guys that break the code breakers, breaking the secrets of the code, so they can actually translate shit. Well, we still have to spend hundreds of hours of our life to break the code, how the Rise Dead works. So you get some information on the surface, but to break the code of how it works, you have to play the game a lot, observe, and take some numbers down. You pretty much need an Enigma machine to know how the battle site markers are created. Right now, there is also some bugs with it. If the main force has 14 units, and if the attack force has 14 units, not included the reinforcements, and there is enough casualties after the battle is over, battle site marker might be created. And even if these conditions are met, it will not always be created. For some reasons, sometimes it's not created. I think it's a bug, but that's the condition. Main force has to have 14, opposing force has to have 14, and the amount of casualties have to be around 2,000, if not slightly higher, for the battle site marker to create it. Battle site marker will add capacity to the Raise Dead pool, and it will generate other units. Right now, corruption will give you some, but over time it will get to the point where you can recruit any and all units. You don't have to always go for all the quality units. You don't need it. This faction never did. So that's the only thing the recruitment does right now. Might give you some ranks, might give you some convenient options, as in you want to recruit 10 Vargeists without visiting a couple of Raise Dead sites. Well, you can recruit a Lord here and recruit 10 Vargeists. Military recruitment, my bad. AI recruitment, these buildings, I have not built a single one of these buildings in this campaign. I have not built these buildings for years. For years, they had no purpose other than provide some convenient recruitment at times for people who don't understand the systems, or people who want to get 10 Vargeists in a few turns instead of, you know, gradually adding units into an army, moving through the regions and the battlefields. This faction works perfectly without getting immediately an elite army from get-go, recruit an elite army from the get-go. You can raise things, by just moving around a bit. You're going to have to move the army around for a few turns anyways. So, as it is right now, what is wrong with the buildings? Well, the core building, especially on tier 5, I think it's not worth it. Other than creating tier 5 set of buildings once to get capacity for, my bad, not even capacity, but recruit ranks for the vampires, and or recruit ranks for the necromancers and lords. You don't even need it for the lords anymore, although it's cool to get a lord a high rank. The lords can level pretty fast now. You have other swords as well. The lord level has never been faster as it is now in Warhammer 3. So what is the current purpose of tier 5 for the vampire counts? It is not for recruitment. It is to unlock some landmarks. That's pretty much the first purpose. And, to get a little convenient 4 more ranks with vampires. So you could recruit a vampire on a higher rank instead of a rank 1. So you start in a little bit higher rank. It does help a bit, get those heroes up faster. Other than this, so you build it once, you're not gonna build any again. So, other than building it once, what is the purpose of tier 5 for the vampire counts right now? There is no purpose. There is no purpose, and I'll explain why. The cost of these buildings is very high. This is a base cost. So, to upgrade from a cursed city to a dark castle, you need to pay 16,000. Let's say there is no discounts. Discount standard is 10% due to a commandment. You pay 16,000 for this, and what did you get? You get from 300 to 400 income. Let's say there is no modifiers. It will take you 160 turns to get this money back. Think about that for 10 seconds. 160 turns to get this money back. What will this achieve other than ones where there is a landmark or those first 4 ranks with vampires? Because there is nothing on tier 5. Nothing other than an income. Nothing. 16,000 to get 100 income. That is atrocious. That wouldn't atrocious. We're gonna use this a lot, I think. The only 2 other base buildings that you get in 99% of your provinces will be Vampire Keep, which is an upgrade on the Vampire Crypts, and Necromancer Tower, which is an upgrade on the Forbidden Library. And what do you get on these buildings? From 50 income to 100 income. So you pay 10,000 on the base. It will take you without any modifiers, but at this point you'll be close to technology if you're considering this for income. Let's say you're just building it for the sake of 4 vampire ranks. Income wise, it will take 200 turns without modifiers. 200 turns get this money back. We did some calculations, quick math on the calculator, and I think the best case scenario, the perfect conditions on top of technology and all the modifiers, it will still take you about 25 turns to get this money back. 25 turns. Perfect conditions with all the discounts, all technologies. At that stage, this money is irrelevant. Irrelevant. Nothing to be gained from it other than clicking this button so you could play with notifications instead of checking every province. Okay, so tier 5 other than the first one and for the landmarks does not exist for this faction. Does not exist. This faction does not have a tier 5 unless there has been a landmark assigned to a tier 5. Does not exist. But Elich, there is Blood Knights here. There is Terrorgeist here. Well, Raise Dead has never been more convenient. It's been more convenient than ever before. And if you understand mechanics even half the time, and if it's only convenient half the time, best case scenario, these are tier 4 units. These are not tier 5 units. Tier 4 units due to the Raise Dead system. But if you're knowledgeable, and if it's convenient over half the time, in my opinion, there is no tier 4 unit for this faction at all. This faction has no tier 4. This faction has no tier 5. There is no tier 4, tier 5 military. All your units are tier 1, 2 and 3. Even your top units like the Blood Knights, Terrorgeists, they are tier 3 at best. You're going to get an army, your economy will increase, you're gonna add some quality. You're not going to recruit units. That army will not recruit units, it will grow via Raise Dead and Regiments of Renown. And if I had to put a Raise Dead at what tier it is now at its highest, that would be tier 3. And you don't even have to manage this perfectly. If you're just knowledgeable and it works over half the time, tier 3 at most. If you're a little bit worse than that, these units are best tier 4. There is no tier 5 for the vampire counts. What came down about this? I don't know. It is what it is. If they want to keep forcing every faction to have tier 5, some systems could be changed. Like the Lords, the base stuff, it's outdated. It's outdated. This faction is outdated. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, a rework is required. Same like rework is required for the base Lords. They no longer fit the game. That's why you have bloodlines. Everything can be built around the bloodlines. When it comes to buildings and recruitment, a rework could be created. The only reason military recruitment and military support exist, it's this is basically just recruitment. There is nothing on it. There could be some flavor, some faction buffs for these units, something on it, but it serves no purpose to a knowledgeable player. A little bit convenience for recruitment and AI only. This is AI buildings. Military support, well, you have hero capacity. Offender here is the armory. The armory is a fail. The necromancers are tier 2. White King should be tier 2. White King is supposed to be the cheapest hero, and even the game is telling you this. If you go to recruitment, a necromancer 469, Banshee 503, Vampire 771, 1, 2, 3. Then you have the White King 335, even cheaper than a necromancer. Why is it not even more widely available than a necromancer? Why did they make White Kings tier 4? You start with 1 hero capacity, you recruit White King, and that's it. Until tier 4, you will not get a second one. By the time you unlock your second White King, you can have 20 necromancers. And a White King is supposed to be a lowly available, easily available hero for this faction. So what I suggest, Ancient Armory to increase capacity for the White King, or at least the Reliquary be moved to tier 3. You have Necromancer capacity here on tier 2. There should be a White King capacity here on tier 2. And that's pretty much the only issue here. Military support buildings also provide recruitment. For a knowledgeable player, semi-knowledgeable player even, recruitment of this faction, other than convenience, does not work. Recruitment for this faction could be reworked. It could be attached to the Raise Dead mechanic, could be attached to the Dark Magic resource. As it is right now, military recruitment does nothing, while military support does little, because you get hero capacity and some income. Let me get into the income. 25, 50. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Let's find a good climate. Commandment here, so can't really give a good option here. Okay, this is fine. It's still 10% cheaper here for some reason. Oh, this is actually seems like it's the base cost. Okay, yeah, this is good here. So this building costs 4,800, 4,800, and it provides 25 income on a tier 3. So why build this building? And please don't tell me it's for the Black Coach. Please don't go there. So why are you gonna build a spirit wall? You start the game with Banshee 0 out of 1. The only reason to ever... There are 2 reasons to build this building. First reason, to recruit that first Banshee. Banshee is a very good hero. If you don't even take into account her battle capabilities, it will provide up to 25% movement range to an army. That is invaluable buff to the army. It might have a good trait like Discipline, another buff for the army. It could be used as an assassin for the Blood Kisses. Okay, so it's a very good hero. As this building is right now, it doesn't do anything other than recruit that first Banshee. Once you hit tier 4, this building is useful again, because to get this building, you need to build this building. And why do you want to get this building here? And don't tell me to recruit hex rates. Please, please don't tell me to recruit hex rates. I'm gonna get brain damage. Why build this building? Is to get a hero capacity +1 for the Banshees. And you get another 4 ranks for the Banshee. So what is the purpose of this building? Initially on tier 3 to recruit your first Banshee, and this building serves no purpose at all at that point. 0 purpose. On tier 4 it will give you another capacity for a Banshee, and that is acceptable, that is solid. So for 4,000 you get your first Banshee, and then for another 6,000 or 10,000 in another capital you get your second Banshee, and that is fine. That is not good enough. That is not good enough. You know, some people like having a convenient recruitment available, because, you know, they don't want to understand one of the most important mechanics of this faction, the Raised Dead. And, you know, these Pepegas can, you know, recruit units. They can build these AI buildings to recruit the units. So the life is convenient for them. So what else can be done about this building? 25 income, 50 income. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And why is this unacceptable? Because the basic building has 250. And it doesn't cost anything. Tier 3 provides 500 and doesn't cost anything, without any modifiers. There is a technology which for this building is a decent one. It doubles the income. Doubles it. And then we doubled it. So from 25 you get a whooping 50, and on a tier 4 for a total cost of 10,000 you get a whooping 100. So this modifier 100%, I think it's fine, then I have to change this. But what should be done about this? This 25 should be 50. This will be average, but acceptable. And this 50 should be 100. Average, but acceptable. You have to keep in mind, you pay a lot. The world is massive. It is the largest campaign map they've ever created. You get to the point where construction costs will cost millions. Literally in a 10 turns on construction costs, I spend $500,000 in the current campaign. And I can spend double that. I can't even afford everything. So there's that. Let's say there is no modifiers, 10% is a standard, 25 and a 50 unacceptable for 10,000 building. A second Banshee, great. Recruitment, sure, convenient for Pepegas. We have 25 should be 50, 50 should be 100, double biotechnology, there is a modifier on the commandment, and you make it in a semi-decent economic choice. And this is more than fine, even to even higher income, because the only time you can build this building, the only time this building will be useful, is in a provincial capital. There is only one provincial capital for province. So what does this mean? In Reichland, you have 4 regions. Only in Aldorf you can build this building. Only the Aldorfs will provide this additional 50 income, which will be doubled by technology. So the only Aldorf will provide the buffed one, which should be probably 100, if not 150. So it should be buffed. So only Aldorf provides this. If you build in Eilhart, look at this. There's an option to build this. 25. So for a 4,000, you get 25 income. That's it. This faction has no global recruitment, which makes military infrastructure so much worse. For the AI, even worse, because the AI works with global recruitment. So this building, 4,000, technology 25 into 50, modifier into what? 53. It should be 50 here, if not 75. So there's a reason to build this in the minor settlements, and so this doesn't look so bad when you upgrade for the economy reasons. So there's that about this building. Otherwise, you know, it is what it is. More offenders here. Let's get in a basic settlement here, so there's nothing special showing here. So the vampire layers and the necromancy. While this building serves purpose, the vampire hero is amazing thing about this. The vampire counts, it's very important. So what this serves purpose is to give you a vampire capacity. Regarding control, next to useless. Regarding 50 income, next to nothing, even with technology. Upgrade, don't even, let's say not even go there. So the only reason to build this is to get vampire capacity. That's it. You're gonna build this once just to get access to 4 ranks or maybe a landmark, and that's it. You're never gonna build again. This building, I have to say, serves almost no purpose. No purpose, and this building can be easily ignored. There is a Raised Dead Mortis engine available before turn 20, and the Mortis engine is a unit you put 1, maybe 2 per army. So other than, you know, recruitment for the AI, it doesn't serve any purpose. You might say on tier 5 you get some research, get Lord Recruitment rank +1. A research on this building is useless because in the current state of the game, we got the best education in the world, baby. Research rate plus 10%, every hero can use it. 79, 615% research. I like to sometimes say, sure, there's some research that's useful here, but this is basically just coping. I'm coping to give myself an excuse to that is something about this building. I'm coping with myself to pay for that low, overpriced Lord Recruit rank +1. Overpriced as fuck. And does not cost 10,000. It costs 5,000, 15,000, my bad, 5,000, another 16,000, 21,000, and another 15,000. Oh my fucking god, this shit costs 36,000 for one Lord Recruit rank. 36,000 to add Lord Recruit rank +1. One is nothing in a game where a Lord can be rank 50, and now Lords get more experience than ever from battles. And don't tell me you can build 10 of these for 10 ranks. Just don't go there. Don't go there. Don't even... Don't. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't. No. No. Don't. This building serves no purpose. No purpose. I like to tell myself it does, because, you know, I like to play long campaigns and like to see recruit a Lord on rank 20. I manage money good in the game, and I like the idea of recruiting a rank 20 Lord. But then I start thinking about it. Holy fuck, I'm gonna have to build 15 of this. 15. And if I don't find materials at sea, holy shit, LH, what the fuck are you doing with your time? Are you telling me you're spending extra 20+ hours per campaign just to build 15 of these so you can recruit a Lord on per 15 ranks higher to save like half of that economy instead of ignoring this? No purpose. You don't recruit a Morse engine here. You don't recruit a Terrorghast here. You raise them from the dead before you even get a tier 3 building. And at a point where a campaign progresses a little, the Beloside markers are everywhere. Even if you're an idiot that has no brain, you will find random Beloside markers on the map where you will be able to raise Morse engines and the Terrorghasts. Do not build this building. Just don't. Just don't. Just think about it. It costs 31,000 and you get nothing. Income doubled. There's different climates in the world. Let's go check with the jungle here. Let's go with the jungle here. Where's the jungle here? There's a jungle here. This jungle has currently 30% higher construction cost, and you can lower it by 10%, so it's 20% higher. Let's say currently you don't lower it. Tier 5 costs 20,800. For what? 100 more income. This building it's fascinating. The modifier is not there. Okay, it didn't update. Okay, we are here. So 6,500, 13,000. Fuck me if I'm gonna pay 40,000 for this. So let's do some quick math. Let's just do some rough numbers. 40,000. 40,000 to get low recruit rank +1. But Elich, you get some income. Okay, how much income? Plus 200. Let's save technologies. Let's say you have technologies. You lose in this climate 15%. So you get plus 5% here, and you get plus 10% there. And this is 100%. Okay, we'll look at the repression building. Let's count the core building. Repression building is on tier 3. So extra 100 plus 10%. There's a little bit modifier to the commandment if you use it. This one works on commandment as well, not just blood income. So you get a 110. And then you get another 100 and a double to 200 minus 15. It's actually lower. Basically, it's around roughly 350 if you don't get other modifiers. It's actually not even 350 because we're gonna count only the necromancy building. We're not gonna add up the other building. Yeah, so you get 185. You get roughly 300. You get roughly 300. 40,000 divided by 300. So, and if this place you decide you upgrade this and you build this, it will take you 133 turns to get that money back. 133 turns. You don't get nothing from here, and you don't get nothing from here other than one lower recruit rank. There's a port which will give a little bit more income. This is a little bit cheaper. So it will still take over 100 turns in an unpleasant climate. Every province in an unpleasant climate, over 100 turns to go tier 5. Why bother? Unless you have like a treasury that's in hundreds of thousands here, and you can just click, which will no longer be in hundreds of thousands, they'll just disappear. It's pointless. It's pointless. So there's that. Tier 5 does not exist. Necromancy, we like to think it exists because we like to stack that low recruit rank +1. But if you add some numbers, it's a fucking waste. When it comes to defense buildings, pretty good stuff. Nothing to complain. The protection building just makes the balefire building bad. And that's the main offender. Balefire building should probably use slightly higher corruption. These failures might have worked in Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2, but they don't work no longer in Warhammer 3. And why? This is just one corruption here. All other types of corruption -5. Take into consider adjacency. Doesn't do anything anymore. So that's +4. If there is effects in other province, it could go as high as -30. Will do nothing. So vampiric corruption adjacent provinces should probably go higher. +4 probably would double to +8, and the local should be 10. So this should be 8 and 10, and this should be fine there. Nothing special. Just, you know, to go with the theme of the building and what it was so far. But that's not enough for this building. It should add another effect, maybe 2. This building can only be the provincial capital. So on a tier 4, it could provide some kind of faction-wide effects, either for the units or the faction as a whole. And there could be also additional local effect, maybe a boost to the economy. Maybe like it could be something like Harvest Corpses, income from more buildings +5%, only on tier 4 one, or could be on a tier 3 as well, +5. Tier 4 could be +10, and a tier 4 could provide a faction-wide effect for you know, some kind of flavor. Could be around the units, lords, characters. Local recruitment to the could be to the heroes. I don't know, some more flavor on it. These two just not enough. There's 100 different things that can be here. So above the corruption, add maybe slight income for the province and something faction wide. Gives a reason to build this in minor settlements, and it gives us a reason to build this in our provincial capitals. Right now it just doesn't work. This is protection tier 2. This is Balefire tier 2. Same cost. Same construction time. Protection tier 2. Belfort tier 2. There is adjacency, but it doesn't work with this value anymore. It just doesn't work. Just doesn't work because provinces look like this now. -3, -2, -1. This is how it looks right now. Adjacency has become way more harsh, and the corruption values should be higher. Local and adjacent. But that building needs more effects. Overall, I think right now the vampire counts are pretty amazing, but I'm a little bit biased here. Their team and flavor works pretty good. They have never been stronger. There's some issues with healing caps. There's some overall issues with the Immortal Empires in general, but not sure this is gonna get adjusted. Not sure this is just a beta, copium, or no copium. Work in progress. I'm enjoying this faction. I love vampire counts and I'm loving them even more than before. Their team is better than ever, but for the love of everything, please fix the bloodline traits, fix the lord traits, fix the hero traits, give us some faction with a faction flavor, background, unique traits of the bloodlines. Still, I'll repeat, if you haven't been here from the start, the best thing about the vampire counts is their team, undead or flavor of immortal undead, my bad, and they do it well. I have a lot of fun playing this faction, and it's unique and definitely provides quite option to already a wide variety of the factions, and it should go along those lines. They need to fix some issues and other things to be adjusted. The worst thing about this faction right now are the traits, and I think they should be more unique to the faction, less copy pasta among the factions, and the bloodlines traits should be unique to each bloodline. The biggest surprise to this faction was we already knew the healing would benefit this faction greatly. I was worried a bit the Nurgle will surpass this faction in what this faction is supposed to do, Immortal Undead. No, these guys are still Immortal Undead, better than ever. And biggest surprise, like I said, was the Corpse Guard. Corpse Guard, biggest surprise because of the support capabilities. Just needs one improvement, fix this technology to provide speed for the Corpse Guards and not charge bonus they're desperately needed. We're gonna have talk like this, review, or what do you call it, Jibber. Once you play every faction. After a few campaigns, we'll talk about the Immortal Empires beta as well, but this is just one for the vampire counts. More to come. I take my time. We don't just play the game, we start the game, we observe, and we also write shit down. And right now we wrote quite a bit of stuff. This is currently the Great Book of Bugs Immortal Empires version. So there's quite a bit, and there's probably gonna be way more than this, so no, stay tuned. More to come.